Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the latest narration on the web series, The Burning Ones. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 33. There are many sounds in this universe which provoke emotion, sounds which emote so strongly they affect those around them. I've heard the rallying cries of battle and the tears of grief. I've heard the joyous of laughter shared amongst friends. And I've heard the quiet sound of a smile. Today, I heard a sound unlike any other. I heard the sound of the humans who had lost one of their loved dearly. The sound of comrades who watched as one of their own was taken too soon. The same race who wrote, "Why so much grief for me? No man will hurl me down to death against my fate." And fate, no one alive has ever escaped it, neither brave man nor coward. I tell you, it's born with us the day that we are born. These same beings rage against their fate, and they rage against the fall of fate on another. Every day, from their first till their last, they rage against the dying of the light. They live clawing for one more day, one more precious, beautiful moment under the light of the stars, not only for themselves, but also for those they love. They may not know why they grieve, but I do. I could hear it in their voices as they cried out. It's not simply the pain of the moment of loss. They grieve because they know, from this moment onward, there is a part of them that'll always be alone. The part of themselves which they gave to one they loved and lost. There is nothing that can be done. In fact, yet so too is this. Nothing will stop them from trying. "Hit me!" Raegar howled and rearranged his armor into a gargantuan shield and charged forward. Mark summoned a ball of flame, letting it grow larger and larger, and finally tossed it forward. Raegar caught the fire on his shield and spread across the surface like liquid. He put the shield in front of his body and barreled towards the draconid. "Corvid!" I shouted. "Tactical options? We do not have any lethal ordnance left on board." "Can you make it hurt?" Raegar was almost to the Drak. Lee was running just behind him. "Affirmative, targeting for maximum impact." Lee cast 2 tendrils of her energy rope onto the edges of Breaker's shield. I saw Zevi cast something in Breaker's back, and his entire body glowed. Corvid launched a salvo of small missiles from the Kestrel system. They streaked past Raegar and exploded in front of Nora Karine and her corrupted guardian. The missiles released a viscous spray of liquid nitrogen, dousing many of the Guardian's protective flames. Raegar crashed into the woman like a freight train. Nora Karine was knocked off balance by the impact. She stumbled backwards. Lee catapulted herself forward over Breaker's head and into Karine's chest. The Golden Warrior and the Red Dragon tangled in the air. Its tail lashed and cracked. Flames spewed forth from its mouth as they tumbled to the ground. Mark's blazing fist cut through the air and pounded into Karine's side. I was still several meters away, unable to move as fast as these humans and their spectral companions. But I heard her ribs shatter. Lee's wings lifted her away as Karine spiraled through the air, reeling from Mark's punch. Before Karine could land and regain her footing, Cooper's great blue staff collided with her head, knocking her to the ground. Karine hit the deck and lay motionless. Her guardian's fires slowly faded. I saw it coming. I screamed a warning. Cooper raised his staff above his head to deliver the killing blow. The energy field blocking the loading bay entry rippled as the winged seraph flew through, roaring, spewing a white-hot inferno from its mouth. I fired my flechette caster until it was empty. It did nothing. Zevi and Lee were quicker than I. Their shields fell on Cooper, bolstering his own protective aura with energy from their own guardians. The winged seraph swung its talons forwards, swinging its weight like a lethal pendulum. They collided with Cooper, but did not penetrate. The impact launched the warlock off of his feet, and he tumbled through the air like a leaf on the wind until he hit the ceiling. The light surrounding his body faded, and he fell to the deck, striking the floor with a dull thud. I was almost there. I was almost in striking distance. Low power warning, flight systems fading. I was falling. The winged seraph coiled its wing to swat me out of the air. My friend, Zebi shouted. I saw a blast of white light explode from his chest and race towards me. The beam hit me, like 1,000,000 volts running through my veins. Lee! To my left, Lee opened up himself and channeled energy into me. My whole body was vibrating. The glow was blinding. The enemy struck me. Its wing rebounded. The explosion blew me and my enemy backwards. The winged seraph stumbled, staggered, and fell against the outer wall of the hangar. The flames coating its wings flickered and sparked. I hit the deck and bounced, spinning wildly. The clerics and warlock engaged the winged seraph. Breaker and Don ran to my side and hauled me to my feet. Get up, Breaker shouted. A ball of fire the size of shuttlecraft was careening towards us. Breaker held up his shield in front of us, and I threw my wings up on either side, shielding the 2 sheepdogs. Are you good? I asked. I'm good. Breaker was knocked off his feet. The force of the blow ripped him off the deck, but his electromagnetic boots remained secured to the floor. There was blood everywhere, floating lazily through the low-G atmosphere of the loading bay. The winged seraph leapt, talons extended, to catch the sheepdog's body in mid-air. I remembered how Krupa said one of his men had been torn in half. Lee's lash caught Breaker and pulled him out of reach. The winged seraph's talons snapped closed, missing their target. Don reloaded his rifle with a magazine that was painted blue. He unloaded, firing rapidly, screaming viciously. The winged seraph stumbled as round after round impacted its knees and exploded in blasts of blue ice. I saw Mark advancing from behind, Cooper on the right, Lee on the left. We could do this. I charged forward, completing the box with Don. The winged seraph howled and spewed fire in all directions. We could do this. The enemy stumbled to a knee, drew its wings back, and then dashed them together with the force of a hurricane. A wave of white fire exploded from the enemy, rippling in all directions. I saw it strike Lee. She had reflexes to shield herself, but was still blown backwards into the wall on the far side of the hangar. I didn't even get my wings halfway closed before the blast wave hit. I felt my left vestigial bone break. I was tumbling, unable to find myself, and I was in horrible pain. I saw Cooper's body, just as it flew out of the energy field at the bay door into the void of space. I hit the ceiling. Something cut into my back. As I fell, Corvid injected me with a blast of emergency stimulants and painkillers. I hit the deck face first. The pain was excruciating. Something had been rammed through my body, through my stomach and out my back. The kestrel whirled and churned. It removed pieces of metal that I had been impaled on and sealed the wound. The biofoam burned horribly as it cauterized the wound. No power warning. Get up, Featherbrain. Move! I hauled myself to my hands and knees. The winged seraph's blast had knocked out all of the lights in the hangar bay. In the distance, dozens of flashes exploded in blue and white and yellow. I saw Mark and Lee dancing through the air, masterfully dodging and returning fire against the winged seraph. Don was kneeling beside Breaker's unconscious body, still firing his rifle. I saw Nora Karine stirring on the ground. She was getting up. She was closer to Breaker and Don than I was. Don! Look out! I screamed. I was running now. Don! Communication systems non-functional. Karine's fires were returning. Her guardian's wings and tail reignited. Her black eyes scanned the battlefield. They found my friends. They found me. Karine's mouth turned up, a sickening, twisted approximation of a human smile. She looked wicked in the glow of the amber emergency lights. She knew I was too far away. Her tail coiled back to strike. The sword in her hands ignited. I knew I wouldn't make it. Corvid had calculated the sword's trajectory. It was not possible for me to stop it. I fired my last stun charges anyway, hoping to buy time. A piercing wail exploded from the ceiling. I looked up to see what new horrors were to come, still running in a futile effort to save Don. Allison was falling towards the Draconid. In the blood-red lighting of the fires and emergency lamps, she looked like she belonged in a classic painting of a goddess of war. Her hands were raised above her head, clutching my seraphim dagger. Shadow's wings were glowing brightly from her back. His eyes burned behind hers. Alison's mouth was open, her face contorted in the savage throes of a desperate battle cry as she dropped towards the demon below. End of chapter. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Cold War Boomerwaffen, Sevaren Serberous, Bushmaster 177, Henry the Red, Casper Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.